Hey guys, Happy New Year's. I just decided to do a quick stream. I was like, yeah, why not? Had a couple drinks. Now I'm just gonna do a little stream. Saw some fireworks. Even though it's like cold as hell here, Peg, people are still gonna go out and set fireworks off. It's pretty ridiculous. Oh, got one viewer in. I didn't give anybody notice. I just set this up right now. I didn't even set a timer for this. But it's been an interesting year. That's for sure. A lot of things have definitely happened. Especially in Canada with Trudeau, all the trade deals he's done, like all the bills he's passed. Like he's done a lot of damage this year. It seems like he wanted to pass as many things through as he possibly could before before the election coming up. Is it trying to stack the deck, with the election bill, so it's like a lot easier for illegal aliens and refugees and whatnot to vote in the election. It's ridiculous. It's warm and dry in Vancouver. Happy New Year's, empty cup. Yeah, it's different all over Canada, right? Some places it's raining. And winter Peg here, it's pretty much fucking cold half the year. And although we were raining not too long ago too, we had like I don't know, kind of a little warm for a little while there. But I don't know. We'll see. Only a couple people in here so far. Well, I bet you everybody else is partying right now. I'm guessing, or doing whatnot. But just looking at some of the stories on Reddit. There's like a bunch of Rohingya Muslims hoping to be resettled in Canada. And it's like, I saw some other Sikh group wanting to be resettled in Canada too. And I'm just like, they all think that there's some illegal aliens or something at the border, Hondurans, that all believe that they can get into Canada too. And they think that they're going to get flown here on a fucking plane. So came over from Marfugal. Hey, Lorene, how's it going? Hope you're having a good New Year so far. It's not too bad. Hopefully, I don't know. Is everything going to be closed tomorrow? I can't remember if that's how New Year's works. If everything's just closes early today or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Everything's closed. But it's going to be an interesting year. Definitely. We'll see what's going to happen. The election, Maxime Bernier, Andrew Scheer, he's starting to appear to go further to the right now because, I guess they're, the polls indicate that, not because they legitimately believe it, but because they think like, oh, okay, that's what most of the Canadians want right now, or the polls say, hey, what are all the pictures on your wall? Oh, those are all paintings and stuff that I bought randomly. I have actually like a lot more here and all over my wall. Maybe one day I'll like do a video or something and show people them. But I don't know. I went to like thrift stores, antique stores, stuff like that. And I just started like buying a bunch of pictures and like old shit. Cause I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this and then I'm going to resell it and I'm going to make a bunch of money. And then like some of the stuff, I'm like, oh, I kind of like it. I'm going to keep these pictures. And then some of the other pictures I have, I'm like, I'm going to maybe try to sell them eventually. They're probably all completely worthless, but I'm like, oh, this looks old. It's got, a signature on it. It's a print. I've trying to learn a little bit about like antiques, a little bit about old picture frames and whatnot. Cause like, I do like antiques. I do like, old pictures and whatnot. You can see like that picture there, it's in that's one of the first ones I bought. Hey, the one, how's it going? Hey, Jones. Hey, Jay, what are you all? Oh, Tiberius. Happy New Year, guys. Hopefully this is the year we say see you to Trudeau. Yeah. That is, you know, I'll take fucking. I had a couple drinks, but you know, beer doesn't really affect me at all. It's weird. It's like I can drink, and I barely even drink beer either. But like I can just drink as much beer as I fucking want, and I barely feel anything. But if it's like hard liquor, then you know I feel something. But when it comes to beer itself, not really. Yeah, Trudeau has got to go. You know, I would love Maxime Bernier to get in there, but like, you know, obviously, you know, there's so many Canadians that are going to be probably afraid to do that. But, you know, we're going to have to see how the polls go and stuff. But I'm still for voting for him and pressuring the Conservatives, because it seems to me like it's kind of working. It seems to me like the more, you know, people are harassing the Conservatives, like Michelle Rempel and etc. Then they start, like, you know, I was reading this one article and they're like, oh, the Conservatives are pushing people further to the right. But it's like, no, it's us. We're pushing them further to the right. Have you seen the Red Pill documentary yet? No, I haven't. I wonder if you've watched it. Is that the one with that blonde girl who went and interviewed all those MGTOW people a little while ago? The Red Pill documentary. If Trudeau gets a minority government, the cons won't let him do anything like the Dems in the South. Yeah, that's true, right? So, you know, it's that wouldn't be too bad either, right? You know, if you had a severely huge minority government and, you know, was throttled and shit. I was selling silver pendants and my wall looks like yours, except with all kinds of pendant stones and fossils. Yeah, you know, it's like one of those things. You get into buying stuff. You're like, oh, I'm going to buy all these pictures and stuff. And like, I bought originally like a bunch of crap, a bunch of garbage art. And, you know, and then it starts getting like kind of better, you know, as you kind of like refine your taste a little bit. But, you know, I found some interesting stuff and I found a couple cool things the other day. And it's like, you know, you feel like you find like a treasure or something. You're like, ooh, this is gonna be worth, somebody's gonna want this. And you're like, oh, nobody wants it. Fuck, it's just useless. And you're like, you don't even like it. So it's like, I try to only, buy stuff that I do like, and that, you know, maybe if it doesn't sell, at least, I don't know, I'll keep it. I'll be like, whatever, I like it. Don't believe the polls. They said crooked Hillary had it. Yeah, it's true. You know, don't believe the polls, right? Like that is one thing that they can kind of fuck you over with, right? And it's like, you know, who knows what the real polls are, and it's like, you know, they can manipulate it to make you think like, oh, okay, you know, I really have to vote for the NPC now or whatever, you know. It's better just to vote with your principle generally. The only problem with voting for Max is the Conservative vote split, right? Like, you know, that there is somewhat of a fear of that, but it's like, you know, the thing is, what we really want to try to do in the Maxime Bernier's party is not so much leech off the Conservatives, but more try to get people who have never voted before invigorated to go vote. Because the Conservative Party, at the end of the day, they have so much shit on them from the past because they're really no better than the liberals. Like, it was Mulroney who signed the first NAFTA trade deal. You know, it's funny. There's the TPP that just passed right now, right? That's going to completely fuck us. You know, CBC, I saw a clip. The only thing that we're going to get beneficial from this TPP trade is cheaper Japanese vehicles. That's it. So if you want to help the Japanese economy, then this CPP trade is great. But the liberals back in the day used to be like, oh, Brian Mulroney sold the country out by signing the NAFTA trade deal. And I remember hearing that all the time. But now all of a sudden, oh, it's good, it's great. Oh, this is so great. And Trump is an idiot for not signing into this trade deal, even though he's selling rice to China for the first time ever It's like, he didn't need this fucking trade deal. These trade deals are just helping multinational corporations and banks screw us over. And it's like, sorry, the this is why prices are still going up, and they're not like food prices this year are supposed to go up for Canadians by like $400 or something a year, even with them taking into consideration us going into this trade deal. So what the fuck does that tell you? What does that tell you? Clearly, these are not benefiting us whatsoever. They're not helping us whatsoever, because companies, multinational companies, what they can do is they buy all these companies merged together, and then they're like, okay, they produce all this wheat or something in Canada, and this is like welfare plays into this. This is why a lot of these corporations, all this stuff, push for more welfare, because it allows the poor populations in our countries to keep buying their products, and then by doing that, they're allowed to overprice the products for the regular consumers, the middle class, so us. So we have to pay them more, and then the excess they send to, I don't know, China or some other country, so then they can artificially manipulate the prices here, because there's not too much wheat here, we can charge you this much. So it's like, these trade deals just fuck us over. They've been doing it for 30 years and they're going to keep doing it. Same with the Paris Climate Accord. That was the same exact thing, just a massive redistribution of wealth. It's going to screw us over in the end of the day. So it's like, fuck, it's totally going to ruin us. Well, post-projecting Trudeau minority, which is not that bad. Right, and if they're projecting a minority, it could be a lot fucking worse than that. You know what I mean? Like, this is why Trudeau and his new policies that he's doing for the election, he's like limiting all the spending people can do, and this sounds good to people, right? Like they read it, they're like, oh great, like all limited spending, it's not as long. But if you take in consideration, Trudeau has the CBC promoting him constantly, always like giving him promotions and softball interviews, and then you have Trudeau who gave the rest of the media $550 million or $600 million, and now they're all going to be promoting Trudeau. So he doesn't even need to spend any money like the other parties do in elections. So it's like, it's perfect for him. It's perfect for the left to limit the spending other parties can do, for promoting and limiting the race and all that. So it's perfect for them because they have the CBC, they have all of the fucking leftist media and all this even right-wing media that's going to start promoting their shit, which I do see because, they want some of that Trudeau money, right? Hey, Mysterious Blue Entity, Happy New Year's. Well, they're spinning the fake news. Yeah, it's the CBC. They're like, oh, this trade deal is great. It's great for these businesses. But oh yeah, consumers, we're not really going to get any benefit from it. They're like, there's not really going to be any benefit for the consumer. And oh yeah, but Japan and China and all the Asian countries are going to get like tons of good deals on our shit. It's like, they're terrible for us. Terrible for us. Hey, Gun Cotton, Happy New Year. Did you see the universal basic income policy for the election? Yeah. And the funny thing is about the universal basic income thing is it's not even real universal basic income, because if it was a real universal basic income, you would be giving it to everybody, right? You'd be giving $1,000 to each person, not just the poor people. So this is just a whole new welfare program. It's not even supposed to work. It's not even going to work the same way, the right way that the original basic income. So it's stealing the name of basic income when it's actually something completely different. So it's like, they're using that, but I'm not for basic income either. That's a whole nother welfare program. Admittedly, I would think that it would be better than the current welfare system, like the actual basic income, the one that like Milton Friedman said was like, you know, potentially viable. But when it comes to the ones that they're promoting right now, it's like, oh, if you make this much money, then you get welfare payments, then you get money. And it's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to remove bureaucracy pretty much altogether, because you just give everybody the same amount of money no matter what, whether they're, you know, so it's like a, you know, it's like a, and even like if you're super rich, you'll still get like $1,000 or something, but it all equals out and whatever. It makes somewhat sense, but yeah, the one they're promoting are bullshit. And I didn't see the one that the Liberals are promoting in their proposal. Yeah, it's hard to watch the news these days. It's not really that easy. You know, it's just pure propaganda, pure nonsense. You know, I don't know. I always imagine regular people watching this shit and just eating it up and like, oh, this is all true and everything they're saying. Look at, they're saying this with like a, you know, a news person voice. So everything they must say must be true, and they must be, you know, it's professionally sourced, and you know, oh, they don't have an agenda. They're not trying to lie to us. CBC, of course they don't have an agenda. Oh, you know, they're critical of both sides. Here, look at this article where they talk meanly about Trudeau or bring something up that he did. It's like, you know, you're a fucking retard. Okay, you're a fucking retard if you're that easily fooled. It's like it's much more subtle manipulation and subtle propaganda than it is just, you know, blatant like that, right? You know, it's the tone, it's the number of hit pieces, you know, like the omissions, the what they focus on, you know, while there's like, you know, there's always tons of things going on in the world, but you know, the news chooses to focus on this, chooses to focus on this or that, you know, so that they have an agenda. I don't consider myself really either liberal or conservative. You know, I have liberal mindsets, conservative beliefs, but like, you know, these terms are, you know, kind of limiting. I'm more of I'm for freedom. I'm for freedom. I'm for, you know, freedom in all walks of life, essentially, you know, so that's what I'm for. That's what I am. Anarcho-capitalist at the most, you know, and maybe, you know, I can change that position a little bit. You know, I can be like, okay, minarchist, you know, depending on the circumstance, you know, it's like, okay, you know, we can't have this. Okay, law settle for this or something, but the most freedom possible in all aspects of life. You know, that's what I want. You think Arctic isn't something to worry about? Also, what's your opinion on net neutrality? Well, net neutrality has been a fucking year. Nothing's has really taken place about that. And like, I can't even remember exactly the specifics about net neutrality, but I remember it was like overblown. And the whole thing with Article 13 too, it's like I always get you know, suspicious when like certain companies are like, hey, everybody rally and do this because we really need you. And all these Google and all these companies are like, rally. And it's like, oh, trust me. It's like, why do you care about our freedom, about all these things right now, but all these other times you don't care? Why all of a sudden? So it's like, obviously you're going to get a hit monetarily. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about getting hit monetarily. And, you know, I'm kind of like, fuck it. Let them try. Let them try to do it. I don't think it's going to pass anyways. I remember reading there was a couple other European states that tried implementing something very similar to Article 13, and it got rejected soon after it was implemented because it just wasn't feasible. So if anybody has a question, just put AJ elicits, you know, highlight my name if it's like pertinent or something, you know, just because I might miss stuff. Even if you put it, I might miss it too, you know, accidentally. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Droopy. about white movie characters being rebooted with black characters like Spider-Man. You know, when it comes to, I guess, Spider-Man and shit, it's like, I don't know. A Canadian Eagle, Happy New Year. Well, to highlight somebody's name, you just put put the at, and then their name, like, so at AJ Illicits. But, you know, I in some circumstances, it's okay, I think. But Happy New Year, BC Barbie. But generally, I think it's happening way too much with white characters and with historical white characters. Like, if you look at the CBC, they are like, you know, making Joan of Arc like a black woman. Or there's like in the Europe or in UK, there's like they're doing it massively there, like a ton. They're like, oh, these Spartans were black, and these people were black, and all of your ancestors and all these were actually black. And it's like, no, people would freak out with the reverse. People still do freak out because it's been done. Right, some white people, when, you know, movies started first coming around, they're like dressed up as natives or whatever. And they're like, you know, put on some makeup, and they're like, I'm, you know, and pretended to be them. And, you know, yeah, probably in those circumstances they should have got like a native guy or something. But like, yeah, I'm not really for the whole changing of it. But it's kind of like, you know, it depends on how it's done. You know, I'm not, especially if it's like a fictional character, but then if it depends on the fictional character, but it's like, yeah, you know, I don't know. You know, it's just kind of a stupid issue, but I do see a lot of it kind of happening. Wouldn't Black Spider-Man be Venom? Won't pay Pedowood to see their crap. Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't really watched any movies in Hollywood in a very long time. Like, I haven't spent money. I haven't, you know, I've watched a lot of things illegally, I guess, online for free. And it's like I watch a lot of YouTube now. Anyways, I watch a lot of different YouTubers, and that is primarily where I get a lot of my entertainment and stuff, right? So it's like, you know, it's that and maybe a couple other things, right? But Happy New Year, Justin. Love you, Glads. Happy New Year, my melody. Yeah, identity politics has destroyed entertainment, definitely. And as you see, you know, Louis C.K. came out and he made fun of those Parkland Survivor kids. Now they're freaking out. They're like, oh my God, how can you make fun of the kids? They were in a shooting. And it's like, you know, grow the fuck up. Okay. Lots of people go through lots of shit. It's horrible what happened to them. That's terrible. But that doesn't mean they're now an expert on guns, an expert on politics and policy, and you know, we need to listen to these kids because they know so much that these adults don't know. It's like, no, your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25 years old. So it's like, I'm pretty much not going to listen to you until you're that age, and before then, it's kind of like just you know, maybe you have some good opinions and stuff like that. You probably do, maybe you do, but I'm still gonna take it with a grain of salt. And it's not to say people with fully developed brains always make good points, but it's not developed. So just shut up. You know, nobody's gonna listen to you. But like, you know, like Louis C.K. is being dragged through the mud through that. It's pretty funny. It's like, you know, he said nothing that bad, and made fun of, like, I don't know, retarded people, or not even retarded people, just using the word retarded. Yeah, I know, right? And that's the thing, you know, that there's going to be a switch to that type of comedy now, I think. Like, people are sick and tired of the political correctness. There was a poll recently, 80% of people are sick or don't like political correctness. So it's just a loud minority of people. And, you know, it's people are slowly getting, like, a lot of these comedians, you could see they're talking about it more, kind of like, you know, how they're not able to say anything, how it's getting worse. And, you know, more people like Louis C.K., although he's fairly discredited, but people like Bill Burr coming out, like he drops a lot of red pills, Bill Burr, tons of red pills for people, that lots of regular people watch him, and they're always getting red pilled on, like, the shit he's saying. He's kind of like a good gateway to like to the right, and just kind of like questioning some stuff. You know, I was watching the thing when he's on Joe Rogan, he's talking about how, you know, like, what the fuck about, why do we care so much about Michelle Obama? He's like, why do we care so much? She says fucking wife, you know, she's nobody, but everybody's like, you know, falling over her. It's like, or what about Obama? He was drone striking all these people and killing all these people. And it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, but nobody talks about that. And the leftists are like, Obama is so great. God, I wish he was still our president. He's the most amazing person. When we saw Twice, I refer to all genders. He's not well known in comparison to TYT or Ben Shapiro or Candace. Who? Louis C.K. is not well known? Oh, or Owen Benjamin is my favorite comedian these days. Oh, yeah, Owen Benjamin. I haven't really seen, I follow him, but I don't really watch too much of his stuff. So it's pretty known because he's selling finance advice on my two. I was calling Last Crash. I watched G-Man from Australia. China has destroyed the West Coast and it's moving east. Just a warning before it ruins more lives. Yeah, you know, that's so true. And like the birth tourism, I was just reading an article about that in China, or I mean in Richmond, and that's where it's happening the most. And they're like, oh no, we're subsidizing your economy because we paid $60,000 to go and stay here and stuff. It's like, no, you're not subsidizing our economy. You're giving money to these Asian people that are taking advantage of our fucking system that allows foreigners to come here and have kids, and they become Canadian citizens. Then you go back home. Then you spend some money, you give it to these people who are not going to reinvest it into the rest of the Canadian economy. Who knows what the fuck they're going to do with that money? And you know, those kids are going to come back and they're going to get discounted university, discounted college. They're going to get massive amounts of subsidies that are going to pay for all of the money that their parents paid for. What do you think? People just come to Canada to have birth their kids here for no benefit? Oh, we're helping your country. You have to be stupid to think that. Of course, they're doing it for future benefits, so then their kids could later say, "Hey, I'm a Canadian citizen. I want to bring my parents over." So it's, you know, they think we're retarded, and I think a lot of us are retarded. It would seem. Yeah, Bill Burr is better than Kevin Hart. AJ, have your views on immigration ever interpreted as racist or xenophobic? Oh yeah, all the time. You're a racist. You're a xenophobe. You hate black people. You hate women. It's like, yeah, whatever. You know, I don't care. Interpret it any way you want. You know, I'm just going to speak the way that other people speak. You know, listen to the way that people speak about white people, just on the mainstream media. White this, white people, you know, white privilege, you know, there's too many white people going to the women's march. White this, white male this, white. I'm just going to start using, you know, plain language, very plain language like they do. All of these blacks do this, and these Asians do this, and these Muslims do this. Blacks. And they're like, man, you're so fucking racist. It's like, whatever, you know. These people are idiots. So I don't care what idiots think. That's the main thing. It's like, I just don't care what stupid people, ignorant, brainwashed people think. It's like, okay, you know, but think whatever you want. The only time it becomes a problem is when they try to find out where you live, where you work, and then they contact your work and they're like, hey, do you know you have a racist bigot working for you that hates black people and women and Jews and whatever else. It's like, you know, this is what they do. This is their MO. They're like, they're little snitches. They're little 1984 kids from like the 1984 book series or whatever, that book. They go around, they listen, and then they go report back to Big Brother. They're like, Big Brother, they said a naughty word, and you need to put them away because they have wrong think. Like this is, you know, people think conservatives overuse the 1984 meme, but it really isn't. It's really so fucking like pertinent to today and the society and how things are going. Like it's just anybody who reads that and who has, or eyes are just a little bit open, reads that book right now to be like, holy fuck, this is exactly what the fuck is happening right now. And they'd be like, you know, I think people are starting to wake up to kind of just the massive amounts of propaganda, because, you know, all you ever see, if you ever see, like, look at the media in America regarding Trump did this. Oh my God. Like, look at him. He went, they're like, Trump is the first president in 15 years not to go to a military base. What the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. Then he goes to a military base the next day. Oh my God, Trump signed these people's hats. What a fucking, he's not allowed to do this. This could be technically illegal, what he did. It's like, I think some people, like there are sheeple that are just going to eat that shit up. But some people are like, okay, this is getting a little bit out of hand. Okay, the media is not giving Trump a break whatsoever. Even, like, you know, the centrist type people are starting noticing that and be like, I don't know. Like, you know, you guys are just sensationalists, and this is what they're doing. They're making themselves into tabloids. They're making themselves, and, you know, they're ruining their own credibility, you know, by the way that they're acting. Vancouver Island, this is a question in Vancouver. Our dirtiest, sickest places in Canada, don't move there. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I have not been to Vancouver. Streams are great. Yeah, I got to check out Owen Benjamin. You know, I do follow him. I watched some things of his, but I don't really, you know, follow him for comedy or anything. Aren't we all xenophobes? Yeah, I'm sure we are. I don't really care, though. Family chain migration. It's a scam. Aren't the SJWs like 40 years late with the white privilege? You know, it's like, I think the SJWs jumped the gun with a lot of their rhetoric too. They're like, I think they thought that they had white people and enough minorities or something in the bag to just say whatever the fuck they want to say or something, do whatever they want to do. But, you know, I don't know if that's the case. And they automatically think that they have kids, right? They have young people, but young people nowadays, they're becoming more and more conservative, and that's they're always assuming, oh, as soon as these people become 19, we're gonna have a huge crop of voters or something. But, you know, if they convert to more conservatism, then you know, a lot of their projections are going to be wrong, and they're going to be jumping the gun and saying all this racist rhetoric to white people. And they're just like, okay, all right, why am I aligned with this party again? They're saying some shit like they're talking like we're not even here anymore already or something. And you're like, you know, the white people are still the majority of the population in America. You know that, right? And it's like they're just counting that on the fact that all these, I guess, university educated liberals, women liberals specifically, white women, are gonna stay with the party, you know, and, you know, just to some extent they will, but even them, they're white women are always attacked within this leftist minority group. Like I said, there was that women's march, and they stopped it because there was too many white women that went to the march. Now, there was even during the women's march last year, there was all these articles like, oh, there's all these white women show up to the women's march, but how come they voted for Trump? And it's like, what? Obviously, all the women who are protesting didn't vote for Trump, you fucking idiots. But I don't know what it's the leftist rhetoric. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're like, oh, all these women, they're Trump supporters when they're clearly not. But they're like, oh, white women, it's white women. They need to vote for the left or vote because they're choosing patriarchy over their gender, and they're choosing their race over their gender because they're like, oh, they're getting I remember reading this whole article. They're getting a privileged position in America because of their race and under men, but you know, they don't want full equality or something because that's like a peg down or something, you know, which it would be, you know, to a lot of extent. Like, you know, those people, they always want to like push white women to the back because they're like, you're trying to take over everything, you're trying to, you know, usurp it, and you know, because there's white feminism that a lot of these SJWs, like they're so separated, they're so, you know, they're hanging on with a thread. Like they're groups, like it's so easy to like spread them apart, right? And it's like, you know, it's like, oh, because a lot of these, like the black feminists hate the white feminists, and they're like, oh, these white feminists, they're just as bad, and you know, they benefited from the male patriarchy, yada yada yada. Like, you know, it's just a bunch of stupid nonsense. But you know, they just hate each other, and you know, they can't help but attack one another, and it's just going to continue. It's going to continue. Should have had if Article 13 passes and Google blocks the EU, people in the EU will lose their shit, which will lead to Article 13 being gutted, maybe some impeachment. Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the thing. Like, for Article 13, it seems like if it were to pass, right, and all the people in Europe couldn't post memes and do all these things, and you couldn't put links and all your shit, like nothing would work. Everything would fuck up. People, they think, oh, this is going to be good. These musicians are going to be paid for their work. It's like, no, it's just not going to be posted on the site anymore. There's going to be like, well, it's too much of a hassle to have to pay you or something or whatnot. So then all these you know, musicians that are all happy for this, it's actually going to hurt them, because now, you know, it's so stupid. You know, people, it's like nowadays we have social media, and that allows regular people to become famous, right? So there's all these musicians, all this stuff that are like that kind of want this stuff, these regulations or to force people to pay, but it's like you wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for this free distribution of your music and stuff. Because and before, there was the gatekeepers of the music industry that are like, no, we're not going to let you, no, this person we're going to make popular, and we're going to, you know, all these famous people, they're handpicked essentially by all these other people. Like, okay, we'll let you into Hollywood, we won't let you into Hollywood. But with social media, you know, sure, you're not going to be making as much money as the hand-picked people in Hollywood, but now at least you have a chance to get into the market, for people to hear you, and you can actually make lots of money or good money, depending. Like, you know, some people, they only need like 10,000 fans, like good fans, hardcore fans, to make a living. A lot of musicians really don't. You know, if they have 10,000 hardcore fans, and a lot of them are donating money and going to concerts or whatever, little concerts, they can easily make a good fucking living. But yeah, it's more equitable, I guess, more redistributed in a sense, because there aren't these gatekeepers in the media stopping people from entering. And that's why, you know, the left and all these other people, globalists, are trying to censor social media right now, because it's giving the average people like me and you a voice. PewDiePie, just a regular motherfucker, just making a video every day, playing video games, has 80 million people almost. And why is he getting attacked? Because he's going further to the right. He's not a right winger per se, but he talks about, you know, some things that, you know, he attacks the left or whatever, here and there. And, you know, they really don't like that. Or he occasionally does some edgy jokes about Nazis, and it's a big no-no, right? So it's like, you know, they want to tap down on social media because it's edging in on their profits, but a lot of these gullible idiots are falling for it and be like, well, I want to make more money because all my people, 2 million people saw my song and I didn't get any money for it. It's like, man, 2 million people saw your song that would have never seen your fucking song if it wasn't for this free distribution of your fucking music. And then all these people who saw your music, sure, you didn't make any money on there, but now all these other people have seen it, and now they could maybe they're going to hire you for a show, you know, make money indirectly from the views. So, you know, it's just greedy individual idiots that buy in to like, oh, we're going to have Article 13 to protect you so you get money for these people. It's like, no, yeah, it's not how you want to not get paid. Essentially, you want them not to get paid, but you want them not to force you to force these companies to pay you for whatever or whatnot. You know, you want it to be free. You know, like when I used to play video games, what I noticed a lot of video game, you know, people started doing is they start giving away games for free, and then you play the game for free, and then you start buying, you know, extra things while you're playing the game. So it's like, you know, giving away the product for free initially can be good, and you can make more money in the long run, potentially. Like that League of Legends game, they give it to you can download for free, play for free, you don't have to spend a dime. But lots of people spend thousands of dollars in that game because they're like, oh, well, you know, I want a new skin and I want this. They end up spending way more money than they ever would have. So it's you know, it's people that they can't think, you know, in larger terms or whatever. They're just thinking like, oh, this regulation is going to help me make money. If we were in charge, I would bring my own form of Nazis in America, but instead it's Jews and it's feminazis. AJ, do you have any non-white friends? Yes. You only need 2.8K fans to get the ball rolling. Yeah, right. I got 2,800, almost 2,900. Not too far away. Not too far. Yeah, you know, and that's why I like, you know, I liked the way I've made the audience that I've made, because it's like, you know, I've gotten to know a lot of different people. It's not, you know, it feels more like a type of community type thing, a community, you know, is compared to like fans. You know, I don't like saying these are my fans. It's like, no, you know, people that watch my content. You know, that's the way I kind of look at it. But PewDiePie has way more than news outlets anywhere. Yeah, you know, it would have to be huge to be seen by passing vehicles, and no doubt happen locally. To find many subs locally, and everything goes silent. Yeah, you know, the walls speak. Here had it. Article 13 passed. Google blocks the EU. Yeah, so if anybody's got any more questions, you know, for Happy New Year's, what was the next step? Disembark or disarm JK.N. What do you mean? Disarm JK. Thank you, BC. Are you a fan of Ann Coulter? Not really. I don't watch her. You know, I've heard things she said that I've agreed with, but I wouldn't call her. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of hers. There's things that she, you know, said that I don't really like and stuff. But like, you know, I don't know. I think she's on the ball for a lot of different things. I haven't read any of her books or anything like that. PewDiePie is a real life Bugs Bunny. AJ, what's your opinion on Aaron? On Aaron Clearly? I don't know who Aaron Clearly is. I'm not sure, or maybe I've heard of him, but I don't really know. Yeah, got to change the calendars. 2019, the year of the election. Hopefully Trudeau can be removed, but you know, we'll see with the Canadian public. I don't have too much hope in them. I don't have much hope. And I was reading the federal infrastructure money spread across the country, like the spending, and like the majority of it is all going to Ontario and like the Atlantic provinces. There's an ever-Trumper. She's not a deplorable Trump blocker. Her from his Twitter. Yeah, right. Didn't she come out and say she's not going to vote for Trump if he doesn't like do something about the wall or something? But it's like, that's why would she say that? That's very stupid. It's like, okay, well, I guess if maybe it's a good thing, I guess, if it really does get Trump to be afraid and think like, okay, I gotta get this wall built. But you know what? At the end of the day, the only thing that's really gonna do any like real harm to illegal, not harm, but like get rid of illegal aliens is like making sure that employers and people that hire illegals go to jail. Like, and if anybody hires an illegal in America, there should be a heavy fucking not even fine, like prison time. There should be prison time, because then a lot of people, nobody's gonna fucking hire these people. They're gonna be destitute and desperate, and then, you know, I don't know, you make it so it's like they can't use fucking shelters and shit, and then they'll all just self-deport. You know, that's a thing. Like, you know, we don't necessarily need a wall, although you kind of do, because it's going to be almost probably impossible to get those regulations or those laws in place to put employers to supersede these sanctuary cities and whatnot. So it's like, okay, so how do we stop the flow? You know, it could be a wall, and yeah, a wall will work. But if we truly had cooperation, if America, you know, if there wasn't all these liberal states trying to fuck everybody over, and some of the conservative ones too who want cheap labor, then, you know, it would be very easy to deal with the illegal immigration problem. Very easy to just, like I said, enforce the laws that are on the books to start with. Like, just put people away, or heavy fines for hiring illegal aliens. It's really all you have to do. A couple other little things, and then they're all going to self-deport. They're all going to leave, because it's going to be easier to live in Mexico than trying to, you know, they're not going to be able to work anywhere else. And it's like, yeah, if you get caught hiring, like, per illegal alien, it should be like, I don't know, 2 years of prison time. If you hire an illegal alien, it's like 2 years immediately. And if you hire like 50 illegal aliens, that's 2 fucking years per illegal alien you hire. And tough luck, we should enforce those laws, you know, because a country, the population, the demographics of America matter more. And, you know, put these people away for 50 fucking years if they hire 50 fucking illegal aliens. You know, give them a break. Instead of 2 years per one, if they do 50, we'll give them 50 years. Okay. But, you know, that's, I think, is a good punishment to deter people from hiring them. You know, it's like, you know, that's kind of what you're going to do. There are lots of legal immigrants here. I met a few people who are legal, but they seem like good people. Who cares if you're a good person? No, nobody cares if you're a good person. You know what? There are plenty of good people all over the world. Doesn't mean you can illegally cross into a country and abuse the system. There are legal ways of entering the country, and it's bullshit to jump the line in front of legal immigrants that are waiting in their home country for 10, 15, almost 20 years. Okay. So, you know, I'm even for stopping all that fucking legal immigration too. But just on behalf of them as well, I would be pretty fucking pissed off if I had to wait 15 fucking years to get in a country and you got this illegal alien that's a good person, are you really a good person? Are those women who brought their kids across 2,500 miles good people? No, they're not. You'd be put in prison for doing that with your kid in Canada, putting them through like a hot car for 1,000 fucking miles. No, they're not good people. The majority of them, they're just people looking for resources, and they're not going to attack and beat you. And they're all, but people are generally amoral. People are moral depending on the circumstances. But a lot of people are nice to your face. Doesn't mean they're actually nice. Doesn't mean their actions are nice. Doesn't mean breaking into a country illegally is nice. Using the resources that other people are spending and investing into that country is nice. But people are entitled. They entitle themselves to other people's resources all the time. It's always like, well, you stole this. You're racist. Capitalism is bad. It's okay if I take your wealth, steal your money, come into your country, use the resources like healthcare, the roads, the police services, all the daycares, schools. All these illegal aliens that are good people are coming in to schools with tuberculosis, all of these other diseases, measles, all these things that have been eradicated. Now all these illegal aliens that don't have shots because they didn't come into the country legally are going to infect your children with diseases. So it's like, people are like, well, they're good people. Well, fuck that bullshit. You know how many people die on the roads by illegal aliens, like in California, like every year? They hit and run, kill people all the time because they're driving old beaters and cars that are probably not even registered, get in an accident and they drive away. It's like California. I feel sorry for anybody who lives there. And like, what about those fires? I think that a couple companies or whatever are going to be charged with murder because of those fires. So, they're blaming Trump and they're blaming climate change. But if that were true, if it's climate change's fault, why are they going to charge a company with murder in California or something? I forget what the company was, but yeah, why are they going to charge them with that if it has to do with climate change? But, we're all stupid. People only read the headline of articles, right? That's it. They all know this. This is why you see headlines that are written the way that they're written. It's because they know that people only read that instead of reading the story. So they see, Trump, climate change, forest fires, California, or whatever. And you read in the story, you're like, oh, it was actually this power plant that had electrical surge, and people told them to fix this for a month. And, they didn't do all these other things, and it didn't, all this debris was left around. This flammable fuel debris and oil rags were left everywhere. It's climate change. It's climate change. That's what's doing it. It takes a long time to get to see any doctors for infections. I almost died from a lung infection from immigrants on the bus and could not get treatment for 2 weeks. Yeah, it's ridiculous. They have diseases. And, I don't trust the UN and their, area, how they vet people and shit. No. And a lot of these fucking people that are coming across, they're taking visas into America and crossing the border into America. No, a good economy, Jon Snow, does not mean your people are benefiting. That's one of the fallacies people think. They're like, hey, we got a good economy. Look at our GDP. It's doing so well. But then you look at the people and their wages are stagnant. Look at Canada. Okay. Look at America. How come is it easy to buy a home in California now for regular people? How is the homeless problem in California? Isn't there like hepatitis all over like the streets? Like people are shitting in the streets in California. Like, yeah, they got a great GDP because they got all these really mega rich corporations that can hire illegal aliens for nothing. So they don't have to pay average people like you a living wage. So, you know, yeah, they got a great GDP because they, you know, this, but they also have a massive, massive debt. You know, Ontario has a great GDP too, but they're the most indebted nation, sub-nation in the world. And then California is the most indebted nation or state, or one of the most indebted places in the world as well. So isn't it kind of interesting how, you know, it's like, oh, these so high GDP, but then we're indebting the nation for years to come. So it's like, fuck that GDP, you know, fuck it the hell. It's clearly not helping us, not doing anything for us. Canada's GDP rose as well, but that was directly due to immigration, to human capital. But that doesn't mean it's good. That just means that the GDP grew, the pie grew, but now each individual is getting a smaller piece of that pie because, you know, okay, you bring in 100,000 immigrants, or we brought in 200,000 this year. Okay, so now the GDP raises. It raises more than it was before. But now you have 200 extra thousand people that are going to need resources. And they're going to take some of these resources. And it's they're not all going to be contributors to the economy, the people you're bringing in. At least 40,000 of those people are dependents, okay? And a lot of the other people that are coming in that are non-dependents don't find work for years. And then a large other percentage of them are refugees. So it's, you know, yeah, the entire U.S. debt is in debt for 20 trillion, and I'm sure California has definitely helped that. But don't get me wrong, hey man, you love California, it's your state. I'm not trying to shit on California, but it's got some problems, and it has to do with the illegal aliens that you guys keep letting into your country. I'm sure they're hard workers, and they're like, hey boss, you want some oranges? I got some oranges. I'll squeeze you some orange juice. I'm sure they're really nice, but yeah, they're fucking you. They're fucking you. They're lowering your wages, and then you know what they're gonna do when your economy crashes, because they have a citizenship in Mexico, in Honduras, all these. They're gonna go back home. This is what they did in the 2008 crash. All these Mexicans were in California and America. 2008 crash happened. They all left. They all went back home because they can make more money back home. The economy does good again. You see a massive influx of illegal aliens come back into America. So, you know, actions speak louder than words, you know. And, you know, people, they go to they're like, I'm a good person. I'm a really good person. And then they go and like punch you in the gut, or they steal from you. And they're like, but I'm so good. I'm so good. It's like, no, you're not. Go back to your fucking country and make it good. Make your country good. Make your country good instead. But whatever, you know, you don't even have to visit California. Just look at the statistics. Look at the homeless problem. Would you admit there's a homeless problem in California? Is there like a housing problem in California? I would assume. But a fixer-upper on 3 acres in Cali 15 years ago for 60, worth 4 times what I paid for it now, right? Exactly. About fixer-upper 50, yeah, exactly. It's 4 times more now. So, you know, if you made some investments early on, and that's probably good. But, you know, California, like what it is, there's no more Republicans anymore in California running. There's no more. They're all gone. So it's like, oh fuck, man! Like they can do whatever they want, whatever they want. Canadians are stuck here and they have options. We don't. Yeah, exactly. All these illegals, all these people that have dual citizenship, all these Chinese people that are coming in and getting dual citizenship, and us Canadians, we're stuck here. We're stuck here with people coming in and abusing our fucking country. destroying it, and they're going to go and they're going to leave. And yes, it's not all their fault. And yes, it's not like people are doing it consciously per se. You know, a lot of people are just coming in. Yes, people are coming in for a better life, but, you know, at my expense, and my country is selling me out. So, you know, something needs to be done. Speaking of homeless, I was in San Francisco for a summer, and every day there was at least a shit ton of homeless people on the streets or sidewalks. Yeah, you know, it's getting worse. Same with Canada. You know, I just saw in my city all these homeless shelters teamed up together to make sure that nobody was sleeping out on the streets, because in Winnipeg, it gets really fucking cold. Really fucking cold, like minus 20, 30 degrees at night. Like, it doesn't feel good, okay? And now we have all these refugees here burdening the system, and now you got homeless people that are going to freeze to death this year. Happens every year, but it's gonna happen more, and it's gonna be a direct result of us being kind and letting in these people to use our system, and now our own homeless people are going to die, or are going to have to go and sleep in a fucking this or that or whatever. And, you know, that's the thing, you know, it's oh, we're gonna help all these people, and let's not even help our own people. So why not shit in Detroit instead? Yeah, Detroit's a shithole too. I don't know, it's a shithole. That's a shithole. That's, you know, Detroit's shithole because of globalization. You know, all of their manufacturing shops left, and you know, look at that place now. That's what's going to happen to the rest of America. That's what's happening in Trump's America. Can I treatment for 2 weeks and turned away? Forced emergency. I was dying. When Trudeau signs the UN Immigration Pact, Canada is going to be screwed. Obama has been all for it. Trump pulled us out of it. Yeah, Trump, you know, did a lot of good by pulling out of the TPP, pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, the UN Immigration Pact. And it's funny how the media is like, oh my God, all of these places, everybody else is signing the deal, but Trump is pulling all these deals. And it's like, in just a few years, not long, everybody's going to be like, fuck, I wish we did the same thing. But dumb Trump, you know, everybody's been fooled that Trump is just an idiot, a bad guy. So it's like, if he's pulls out and everybody else stays in, and everybody's going to look at that, the average person be like, oh, well, yeah, well, he's erratic. Well, he's crazy. Well, he hates people. So, of course, he pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Of course, he pulled out of the TPP. Of course, he pulled out of the UN Migration Pact. He hates migrants. You know, he hates them. So, you know, they all buy this shit. But really, it's, you know, he's the only smart one. It's the only smart one. And all of us are going to pay the price in the future for these globalists fucking us over, these multinational banks and corporations that are really running the show. This is why they hate Trump so much, is because he's pulling out of all these things. That's why they hate him, because it's disrupting the status quo of trade worldwide. There's hundreds and trillions of dollars at stake. And because Trump is not playing ball with these people and the economy and all this other shit, they're losing their shit. They're losing their fucking shit. And you know, because he's America first. He's not doing globalist first, because everywhere else it was always globalist first. It was always multinational bank first. That's what they do. It's all these companies that merge together, that are all these different countries that are now trying to set, you know, these prices. So then, you know, it's not an actual free market. These are, you know, markets that have been, you know, manipulated by the World Trade Organization, by banks, by, you know, it's not a free market. We're not doing free trade. It's not going to help Canadians. It's going to hurt us. And Trump is smart for pulling out. Like, look at him. He's already importing rice into China for the first time ever. And guess what? He has no trade deal. And he did it before this trade deal
was even fucking signed. So how the fuck did he do that without a fucking trade deal in place? He already did it. And then I'm seeing our Canadian people, they're like, oh, well, we're going to have an advantage on America to all these markets. No, we're not. No, we're not going to have an advantage. Like, what are you talking about? No, we're not going to have an advantage, because we're all going to have to play by these same rules that all these other people play. Whereas America and other countries are going to are not going to be held by the same restrictions, and are going to be able to offer a better fucking deal to other countries than we are able to offer, because we're going to have to follow all these guidelines that these trade deals set for us. And then it just gives more power to corporations to sue individuals in other countries. So you're going to get sued by some company in China, and all of this trade deal is only going to benefit Asia. It's all about bringing Asia into the whole trading economy. You think that's going to be good for us? Oh, we're going to get cheap products. No, we're not going to get cheap products. We're not going to get cheap products. It's going to go up. The prices of food are going to go up. The price of our electronics, all these things are going to go up. As as they have, food is going up $400 extra this year. And we're doing all these trade deals with Japan and China and all this shit. Nah, it's clearly not helping us. We're just told one thing. They name these trade deals free trade deals. Doesn't mean it is. The Patriot Act, this act, the Child Welfare Act. It's going to help all kids. No, it doesn't help them, but they say it does. What is with NIMO? Okay. Oh, sorry. I saw a question you said about Ohio. What do I think about Ohio? I don't know. I've never been to Ohio. I don't really have an opinion on it. Not really. I've never really been there. I don't know much about it. Trump's the only president in years that actually wants to get shit done, right? Yeah, he's got his faults, but honestly, I don't know what the fuck would be happening if it was Hillary Clinton right now chanting, "We want Trump." It's happening all over the world. Yeah, a lot of people want Trump. That's got to be like a chant. Like, we want Trump. And that will tell you, that's all people really need to hear, and they'll know all of our positions. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good marker. Like, some people, they'll be like, okay, maybe they're anti-Trumpers, and maybe they're for immigration, like these nice conservatives, and he's just in that. It's like, no. We want Trump. Right, but hopefully we can get Maxime Bernier, instead, that he would work with Trump. Fuck, man, if we had Maxime Bernier right now, holy shit, like, our economy would be doing so much fucking better. Like, it's not even a joke. Like even Andrew Scheer would not have gotten a good trade deal with America either, because he's bought and paid by the dairy cartel, and he wasn't going to give up anything about them. And if he did, like Trudeau, he gave up a little bit, but in this new trade deal and a couple other ones, he's added more support for the dairy cartel. So they're getting more subsidies now, and money. So it's like they're paid off anyways. But Andrew Scheer wouldn't have gotten a good deal either, regardless of what he says. Whereas Maxime Bernier would have, because he would have been like, yeah, I'll scrap fucking this. I'll scrap this, and then open this up for me, and we'll have more actual free trade. Get the barriers on steel off. But, the reason why Trump has the barriers on steel is because of, the NAFTA deal, and how Canada was exploiting the NAFTA loophole, where we're getting all this steel from China and then repackaging it as Canadian steel and reselling it at a higher price to America. So it's like, we're exploiting this, making hundreds of billions of dollars over the year. And it's not us making this money. You got to remember this. It's these corporations, multinational corporations, that are making all this money. It's not us that are making this. So, it's like, oh, Canada's making all this money from off of America, but it's like, you know, people in Canada are making this money, not Canadians. We're not benefiting from this shit. But you know, that's why we still have this steel tariffs on, though, because Trudeau, you know, he wants to make some deals with the CP whatever TPP, that, you know, more deals with China. But you know, that clause Trump put in there where he's like, you can't make a deal with a non-market economy without consulting America first, and then they could have to, like, you know, review it for 3 months, and then if they don't like it, they can pull out of the NAFTA deal. And the NAFTA deal is way more important to the Canadian economy because of the auto sector than the CPTPP trade and the recent EU deal that we did. Like the NAFTA trade, the NAFTA negotiating order, that's way more important to our economy than any other thing. So it's like, you know, Trump was smart to do that. And it's actually to our benefit that he did that. To our benefit. It's almost like preventing Canada. It's almost preventing Trudeau from selling out Canada. It's like, you know, like thank fucking Trump for doing that, you know. But like if we had Maxime Bernier, he would, fuck, we wouldn't have steel tariffs on. We would be side by side. Hopefully he doesn't like go after Trump. You know, I haven't seen him like, you know, endorse him or anything like that, but I know he would work from the rhetoric I've seen. He said, like, you know, I'd work with Trump and I would do this and I would do that. So it's like, you know, that would be great, man. Like, fucking, we want Canada and America to be partners. We want them to be brothers, which we are, right? You know, Canada and America are fucking brothers, and they should work together. Like, fuck Mexico. But like, you know, I guess they're North America, I guess. But no, fuck Mexico. They're just a parasite, essentially. But you know, yeah, like fucking Canada, America, if we teamed up, you know, and that would force Mexico to comply on everything as well. And you know, we'd have a united Western front to take on Europe and their fucking socialists and push them further to the right. And, you know, like, it'd be so much better. We'd be so much better off. Yeah, racist. Temp lower gas price to trick people while upping everything through the roof. He has his hands and can't get anything done because of globalists and deep state. Yeah, right. You know, they're like, look at all the obstruction that Trump has gone through in office. Like, you know, there was that John McCain who just died, fucking just bitterly voting against everything. Then you got that other guy who's always voting against everything, who has like no chance of winning. I can't remember, but he's like kind of like dirty blonde hair, but he's like votes for everything the Democrats want. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you're obviously paid off to do this shit. But, you know, there's definitely been a Flake. Yeah, Flake. That's who it is. And it's like, get out of here, you stupid cat. But Flake is just a piece of shit. And then they're like, oh, you think he's a piece of shit because he's flip-flopping? It's like, yeah, I do, because I don't think it's legitimate. Because I think it's not, you know, he's a piece of shit. It's like how, why? It's like every time I see that guy, I'm always just like, fuck, what is he gonna do this time? He's gonna come out and oppose it. Obviously, he's gonna oppose this. You know, it's like how do you call yourself a conservative and like oppose everything that is a conservative principle or idea? It's like, you know, how dumb are fucking people? It's like, you know, people are just conservative in name, and they're like, oh, well, that guy says, like, that's what the liberals do all the time. They always like CNN is like, oh, conservative analysis is coming to speak. And it's like, that's not a conservative. This guy's, but he calls himself a conservative. He's probably voted for Hillary Clinton. He's probably voted for Barack Obama. He's probably voted for the left for years. It's like Joe Scarborough. It's like, I'm a conservative. No, you're not. You're not a fucking conservative. You never were a conservative. Don't pretend like you are. But then to the average public, they're like, well, they're seeing like on the news, well, this conservative is condemning Trump, and this liberal is condemning Trump,
And so it must mean Trump is just outside of this, and he's not even a conservative or a liberal. He's just, outside of this, and that's why there's Trumpers and this. There was no George Bushers, there was no Clintoners, there was no all these other Erners, Hillary Erners or whatever. It's only Trumpers, Maganomics or whatever. It's because they're trying to separate Trump from that shit, which he is separate from the establishment, from the left and the right, Did you see Chuck Todd ban climate change deniers from his show? Yeah, it's just one of these more propaganda from liberals trying to take like a moral stance. Like, if you don't believe in climate change now, I just can't morally even interact with you, because it's just, what does that say? It's like, it's such a horrible, terrible thing, climate change, that like, and it's so obviously true that if you don't agree with it, you're an immoral person, and I can't even associate with you. But hey, if there's a pedo, sure, bring him on. Let's bring some pedos. Let's talk to the pedos. But you're a climate denier? What? Okay, no, I can't speak with you, because the evidence is overwhelming and all this crap. But it's like, it's a straw man anyways. Or like, they call people climate deniers if they're like, nah. They're like, I think, like, nobody's denying the climate. Nobody denies the climate. First of all, nobody denies that. It's denying whether humans have an impact on climate change, and whether or not even that's a bad thing, right? It's like, how much and how much influence do we have? There's lots of different questions to be asked. Is CO2 good for the planet? How much heating can it take? Were we hotter in the past before? There's lots of things to talk about, but you can't. It's pretty much like the Holocaust bullshit. They're like, if you speak about it, you can't even talk about the Holocaust. You're this, you're that. Not that I do, and not that I question the Holocaust numbers or anything like that. But I'm just using an example. But I would be open to listening to different numbers. Deplorable made Trump POTUS despite the Republican Party. Yeah, exactly, right. Chuck Todd, I'm on MeWe. Send you vid editing tools. Okay, I'll check that out on MeWe. Chuck Todd called it a crisis. Oh yeah, I hate that guy. I hate MSNBC and NBC. All fake news media. It's just terrible. Hey Eric, Happy New Year. Oh, sorry. Happy New Year. But yeah, Chuck Todd is just piece of shit. Like, it's hard to watch American news. It's just constantly, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, Trump just signed a hat. Oh my God, Trump just walked in front of the Queen. He's not allowed to do this. It's just nonsense after nonsense. But, what are you going to do? America's carbon emissions are decreasing faster than any other nations. Yeah, that's the funny thing. America's carbon emissions have been decreasing without a carbon tax, and all of Europe has had carbon taxes and all this other crap. And, even I think it was the provinces. What was the province in Canada here that has a carbon tax since like 2008? Well, their carbon emissions have also increased. So it's like, what the fuck? AJ, do you think Fox News is biased towards Trump? Yeah, sure, it's biased towards Trump, but obviously, but they're still not to be trusted. Okay, because look at Syria, for example. Fucking, I got a cat hair, a fucking cat. But look at Syria, for example. After Trump said he's going to pull out, what if Fox News come out and do? Like the majority of them, they're all like neocons, or like, Trump, how could you fucking pull out of this, and blah 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 blah.
blah blah. But it's like, you know, they're pro-Trump because they have to be pro-Trump. They have no other choice. But I don't trust Fox News really. You know, I like Tucker's not bad. He's pretty good. I like watching his interviews and stuff like that. But you know, generally, no, I Fox News is garbage. But it's doing better, and it's giving you better news than what you're getting from the mainstream media right now. But don't trust them, is what I'm saying. Don't trust them. They can still lead you astray. And they're also warmongers. They're also neocons. They're also multinational corporations who don't, you know, they're doing better right now. They have better stuff, and you know, they're telling you things that the rest of the mainstream media is not telling you. So that's good, but you know, it's different, right? And that's why I just recommend reading everything. Watch Fox News, watch or read CNN, read Fox News, read MSNBC, read it all. Read all of it. You know, you want to get an idea of what the media is sending out to the people, to the public, and what message they're trying to give out there. Because if you're completely ignorant of it, how are you supposed to defend against it, right? If you don't see any of your enemy's moves, then how are you going to train against it? You know, how is a boxer going to, you know, he's going to have a much higher chance of success if he watches fights that happened, you know, before, and then he could train against it, and learn how to, you know, do something, learn how to counter those arguments. But if you're only reading, you know, a right-wing news source, then you're going to be caught off guard by a lot of shit. And sure, and there's stuff there and news that maybe that is interesting that other news agencies aren't covering. You're like, oh well, actually, BuzzFeed actually had a decent article on this, or oh, they're actually they're talking about this or something, or this random news agency randomly, they're, you know, New York Times occasionally does some really good investigative pieces. You know, the Washington Post, I think, you know, I saw this whole thing was like on Obama, really long, really detailed journalism, Obama's connection to the Muslim Brotherhood, and, you know, all the funding and how he gave all this money to, you know, and allowed the Muslim Brotherhood to fund or to, you know, embezzle and to launder all this money through Mexico and the drug trades there. It was like, you know, it's a pretty good in detail piece. So it's good to read everything. It's good to get as much information as possible, but, you know, AJ, I read that the FCC is being investigated by the FBI for net neutrality based comment fraud. Oh, they hate bending strings. But yeah, guys, I think that's about it. It's getting pretty late, you know. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you guys all had a good Christmas. You got everything you wanted, you know, and you know, hopefully this New Year's it's going to be good. And you know, I think there's going to be a lot of change definitely this year. I think this year is going to be a year of remembering, right? There's going to be a lot of shit that's going to go down, and you know, not just in Canada, but I think everywhere. And you know, things are heading to a T. We're at like a bottleneck right now, I think, in civilization and in just society, where things can go either way. You know, there's strong influences on either side, and the things can still go either way. But you know, keep hope. Don't become black-pilled. Don't think that you can't make any difference whatsoever, because you can make a difference individually. Changing one person's opinion, one person's mind can have an impact, can have a large impact. So, you know, don't think that you are powerless to change Canada, to change America, to change the world. You know, we are small, we are insignificant, but we can do things. We can have impacts. But that's all I pretty much had to say, guys. If, you know, I'm going to try to make some more content maybe tomorrow if I got some time. But, you know, Happy New Year, guys. Take it easy. See you later, Eric. Have a good one.